Welcome back to another review by Mega Train Lover. Today we're having a look at the third and final locomotive which I got at the Tolworth show train. As you can see, it's another Bachmann model. You can probably tell from the picture on the box, but this is a British Rail Standard Class 4MT tank. And if we bring the box up close, you can see very reasonable price tag of £55. And there's the product code 32354. Standard Class 4MT tank, number 80002, BR lined black with the laid crest. And as you can see, this is quite an old tooling, but the tooling itself is still current, because Bachmann still make it like this. But this model itself is about 20 years old, but I can assure you it is really nice. So anyway, a bit of history about these locomotives. So these were built obviously as part of the BR standard range to the design of R.A. Riddles, and they were built between 1951 and 1956, and in total 155 of them built. 130 of them were built at Brighton Works, 15 at Derby, and 10 were built at Doncaster Works. They were used across all four regions in Britain. Well, 5 if you include the obviously there was the Scottish region as well, so they're used across all the different regions under BR, but the region that made use of them the most was the southern region, so they're very common on the southern region. They were mixed traffic engines. They were used on passenger and goods, and it is said that in service they could reach speeds of up to 75 miles an hour, which is quite impressive for a tank engine. But obviously for a tank engine of this size it probably isn't too surprising, and obviously for its size they were very good on commuter services. And in common with most of the BR standards, they had a very short working life. The first of them was withdrawn in 1962, and all 155 were withdrawn by 1967. Thankfully, 15 engines have survived into preservation, making them the most numerous type of BR standard to be preserved. And in fact, the locomotive which I have a model of here, number 80002, is preserved. This particular one, I believe it's on the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway. It's 80002 is also the only example of the 15 which was not preserved from Barry Scrapyard. It was purchased directly from BR. The remaining 14, all of which were purchased from Barry Scrapyard. There are still a couple undergoing restoration, but the majority of them have run in service at some point in their lives. But you know, they are extremely suitable engines for heritage railways, because they're big, they're powerful enough to haul the trains, whilst, you know, I think they're quite economic engines, but I'll let someone who works for a heritage railway comment on that. But, you know, they're very versatile engines. Anyway, let's put the box to one side, and the model itself is right here. Wow. Wow. What can I say? As usual, added by myself, the head code disc. Well, what can I say, honestly, other than the fact that she's stunning. She is beautiful. Let's start with the front. It's got the very characteristic look of a British Rail standard. Yep, sprung buffers. I always found it unusual how these engines had oval buffers, because most of the BR standards obviously had the round buffers, but it does add a touch of kind of uniqueness to them. One thing, the front bogie does seem quite loose, but I think I'll just need to tighten these screws slightly, but you know, at least it does have some, at least it does have some play in it, so it can negotiate the corners quite easily. There's number 80002. Let's start, look at the side. Oh wow, just look at all the valve gear and the wheels. And all the detail is just so intricately applied. I mean, for a 20-year-old tooling, this is just fantastic. and you get all this pipe work underneath. You can see all the injector piping underneath the cab. You get the whistle and the safety valve. The late crest is applied really nicely, and the weight, as you might expect, it is quite a heavy locomotive, so definitely have no issues at all with traction. And you get the high voltage stickers. Well, I say modern, I mean these were probably applied in the 1960s when they started electrifying the network. But yeah, I mean, all in all, you get all this, all this pipe work, the handrails. Yeah, the detail is just applied so well. It's really nice. The cab, from what I can see, it's not painted. So that might be a slight letdown, but I mean, for a 20-year-old tooling, that might be expected. But no, I think, yeah, I can definitely see some detail in there. Obviously, it's not very visible because it's an enclosed cab, but yeah, the coal looks really nice. There's number 8002. And let's look at the back. Yeah, so you get the water capacity. I think it's 2,000 gallons, which is quite reasonable. Obviously not needed for the model itself, but but yeah, it's a nice touch of detail. You get the steps. You get what appears to be, I think that's a handrail. Yeah, that's a handrail on the back. Sprung buffers, as I mentioned before. And yeah, I mean the printing, it looks really nice on both the number and the Lade Crest logo as well. The roof vents on the top, these are just moulded onto the cab. They don't actually move, but I mean, for the price I paid and for the age of the tooling, I think this is completely acceptable. Because all in all, the model just looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, again, another example of, just because a model is second hand doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, this is really nice. It's probably my favourite purchase of the three. Yeah, I mean, I've been after one of these for a very long time because, again, just like the 4F, I'm a really big fan of the BR Standard, of this particular BR Standard Class 4. I rode behind 80151 on the Bluebell many times before, and I've always loved it. And 80151 visited the Midlands Railway back in 2021 for the autumn gala. So yeah, I've been behind her on both railways. So yeah, lovely engines, really nice. And this model itself, and this model represents it superbly. Anyway, looks are one thing. How does she perform? Let's find out. So here we have the Bachmann BR Standard Class 4 tank on the track, and we're just going to select her number. She was DCC ready and I have fitted her, and watch her go. And away she goes. Oh, not bad for a 20-year-old model. Love the way the valve is moving about. Although what I have noticed is, yeah, she does slow down a bit on the curves, so we'll need to check to see why that's the case. But otherwise, not bad. Not bad at all. Let's get a few shots of her parts then. So yeah, really nice runner. Not bad at all. So just to conclude this video, highly recommended, especially if you are modelling a southern region layout. Then this is a must-have, because as mentioned, these were very, very common in the southern. But yeah, fantastic model, especially if you can get it at a good price, then it's highly recommended. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.